Do your thing.
Yeah, we'll do our thing. Should we go again?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's start rolling.
Yeah. Rob Cass here.
Oh, wait, what was it?
Okay.
Yeah, we ready now?
Yeah.
Rob Cass here, Nicole Zuraitis. How are you doing?
I'm great. Great to be here with you.
The first question I wanted to ask you, which is a strange one, but how do you find out you've got a Grammy?
The nomination or the actual win?
The nomination.
Well, the first time we were nominated, we woke up to the news. We were nominated for Best Arrangement in 2018. And we didn't even know that we were really in the running. So that was really exciting. And then...
What, it's on the news?
Yeah.
On the TV or?
Well, they, like Billboard and Rolling Stone and the New York Times, they release all the nominees. And then all my friends are texting going, it's either a mistake or you're nominated for a Grammy, which was really exciting. And then, you know, once you're kind of in the scene, you're more tuned into it. And yeah, and if you win, hopefully, unless you're like super famous and you're like above going to the Grammys, which is ridiculous, you're in the audience.
Wow.
And then they call your name, and next thing you know, you're standing on stage, blacked out, not remembering anything, shaking like a leaf, and blacking out on the way out too. Is like
so
that.
When you were nominated, I mean, how are you feeling when you've actually got that nomination? Because you're working hard for all those years.
Yeah.
You get it, and so what was the feeling? Did you scream? Did you like, oh wow? Or
couple of different reactions. The first one, scream and cry. The second one, For How Love Begins, hysterical tears, because I was really focused that year on trying to make a name for myself. I actually set a goal for myself. So when I got the nomination, I started to cry, not tears of joy, but like relief. And I turned to my husband and I said, I'm so sorry. I have been so awful to you for the last 2 years, because I just ignored his existence trying to like make something for us, because we're a musician couple.
Sure.
And then this year when we were nominated, I was in Sicily, and I was so anxious about it that I took a nap, and I covered my head with a blanket. And I was like, if my phone starts to be texted, then that means maybe I was nominated. And if not, I'm also happy just to be in this industry. So
that's this year?
Yeah, that was last year for Live at Vic's.
Wow. Because you won it for Best Jazz Vocal Album, wasn't it, for How Love Begins?
Yep. And also for Best Large Jazz Ensemble for Bianca Reimagined, which I produced and was a featured artist on.
Wow.
Yeah, cool.
So that was like a massive validation. Yeah. I mean, you have that moment where you go, all your peers have said, this is the shit.
And that's what it is. It's the peers. And for an independent artist who's like an elder millennial, I consider myself an elder millennial who just never really took off in virality with numbers on streaming, on like social media platforms, because my numbers were not conducive to maybe like the artistic level I was at. I was always thinking, well, I'm not worthy. But the Recording Academy and the Grammys is a peer recognized award. So my peers were like, here, we see you. And that to me was like the ultimate validation.
Amazing. So when you turned up at the Grammys, I mean, were you nervous? Were you resigned? Did you kind of talk yourself, I'm not going to win?
Yes. That part. Always, I'm not going to win. Nervous, peeing my pants. Yeah. The funny thing is that when, I think every artist should do this, they should write an acceptance speech, even if they're not trying to go for an award, because what it does is it makes you analyze what matters to you and who in your life you have to be grateful for. And sometimes we don't practice a lot of gratitude. And so Grammys, schmammies, if you're just in life and you're struggling, write an acceptance award, an acceptance speech, just as a moment to be like, wow, I'm so grateful for music educators. I'm so grateful for dogs. I'm so grateful for the ability to make music for a living. Like it's a nice gratitude exercise, which sounds hippy-dippy and like I can feel people rolling their eyes through the thing, but that's what I learned from the process.
well, it's all about the team, isn't it? It's all about the gang who gets you there. It's never just one person, you know.
Correct.
And yeah, that always annoys me as an atheist. But it's like, I want to thank God. What are you going to do? God, who's he? Where's
exactly.
he?
What about the sound guy?
The engineer going, hey, excuse me.
Yes, exactly.
But no, I jest. But so you get your name gets called, and so that was an incredible moment. I know I'm stating the obvious here, but wait, was it surreal? Was it terrifying?
Terrifying. More, for me, I really never saw it coming. And, if there's somebody who was maybe had some ill will, they'll be like, oh, she saw it coming. No, I never would have expected that, especially with the level of the people who also released albums that year, which I don't see as competition. It's more like these are my colleagues, my peers. And so when they called my name, I really did black out. Like, I don't remember anything about it. I just know that you're supposed to stand up straight and hold the award. And what did I do? I hunched holding my purse because I lived in New York for 20 years. And I was like, well, I need my purse. And then the award under my arm and my hand shaking with that acceptance speech with which I'm thinking, wow, who has the audacity to write an acceptance speech? But thank God I did, because I was totally blacked out. I mean, Nate Smith, the wonderful drummer this year, he is so eloquent. And when he won a Grammy this year, I was in the audience. He was like, wow, guys, I can't remember what I was going to say, and I don't have the words, and I'm blanking. And I was like, yeah, that's why you got to write it down. You got to write it down. Practice gratitude.
So you wrote and arranged the entire album.
Yeah.
And that was the first time anyone had ever done that.
Yeah, for Best Jazz Vocal Album. And also the first independent artist to have won, which I never saw that like as special. And then as I've kind of come up through jazz, I realized that the path that I've taken is one of the hardest ones, because you're supposed to sing standards, or you're supposed to sing standards. And what I was doing was always just writing music, and that's why I started the Modern Songbook Society, which is to give a space for jazz singer-songwriters and living jazz singer-songwriters to create a new canon based on the Great American Songbook. So when I wrote How Love Begins and it won, I was like, wow, people are ready to hear tradition, but also moving the genre forward. So I studied the language of jazz. I honor Black American music. I honor the tradition of jazz, but I also believe that you have to innovate and move it forward by writing. So when it won, I was like, oh, okay, people finally are like picking up what I'm putting down, as opposed to before, where 7 albums in, people were like, that's fine. But also, it wasn't even that good yet. Like, it still could be better. I'm still learning to be better the whole time.
Well, it's all about telling a story, isn't it, at the end of the day, with records, about your struggles and strives. That's what jazz and blues, the origins of it are. You know, we know the origins of the music. So I think things are changing. I think the diehards, as the jazz police, like, oh, you're sounding like Ella Fitzgerald or whatever. I mean, I love the record, and I listened to it like over the last week. And I think the best compliment was I was listening to it at home, and my wife just came by and said, who's that? And I said, this girl's, Nicole Zuraitis. And she said, wow, that's terrific. I really like that. And she just walked out. And I thought, that's it. That's success. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially my wife, she doesn't care about any of the stuff that happens around. It's like, I like it. I don't like it. She said, she's got a terrific voice. And then she was kind of listening as she was cooking in the kitchen while I'm listening to it in the house. But she just loved your voice instantly. And that was the end of it, But I think that's success. You got her straight away. And, listening to your tone and your approach and, I mean, I was hearing all kinds of things in your voice as someone who loves music, but not only jazz influences, but even, this may be way off the mark, but I could hear Joni Mitchell. I could hear Ricky Lee Jones, who I'm a huge fan of. That first album, one of my favorite albums of all time, So I could hear some of the way you phrase things at the end of the line, and I thought, yeah, okay, there's an influence there. And I think, that's where jazz should be going. Jazz should be evolving. In this way, not stuck with the standards. And
that's why I call it Modern Songbook, because we have the tradition, right, of Great American Songbook, Black American music. We have it, but Black American music has shaped the rest of the music that we have in America. It is the root of pretty much all American music. And so we also have rock, folk, pop, soul, neo-soul, the modern takes on jazz, country. All of that stuff is part of the American canon,
sure.
And I am an American artist. So there's no way that I can write music that is not influenced by Joni Mitchell or Carole King or Stevie Wonder or Led Zeppelin or all these amazing artists. I can't not be influenced by them because I grew up listening to them. I didn't grow up only listening to Henry Mancini, Count Basie, Miles Davis, and Chet Baker, Ella Fitzgerald, and Sarah Vaughan. I listened to them like a diehard, but I also listened to Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Billy Joel, the whole Motown songbook. And that to me is what makes what modern songbook is all of those melded into one while still being rooted in the jazz language.
Well, that's literally, it's traditional music, American music.
Yeah, it's
is all of these things rock, it's all part of...
It's the melting pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny, talking to Mick Rogers today, we had him on the show from Manfred Mann's Earth Band. I mean, they had massive hits throughout their career, right from the 60s right till through the 70s.
Yeah.
But we were talking afterwards. He says, I really love, I love the Prodigy and I love Taylor Swift. He doesn't care. He's just, he's a very broad church and taste-wise. And this is where I think things are changing. I think there'll always be the diehards who just give you, but I think the general sort of mindset now is, are you any good? Can you deliver it? Do you make me feel anything?
That's the key. Do you make me feel anything? And what I found was missing in jazz songwriting especially was the storytelling and the ability to be vulnerable. There was a lot of lyrics that people don't study the importance of lyric and storytelling in jazz songwriting. It seems to have just kind of gone by the wayside, but we focus on Irving Berlin's storytelling, Cole Porter's, George Gershwin's. That's all storytelling all in one song, perfectly packaged into one little songbook. But I want to make sure that people bring back storytelling, or what I like to call it, Jazzlore, instead of folklore, Jazzlore.
Why not? I like it. Jazzlore is good.
We need to bring storytelling and good lyric writing back to jazz. And I'm not saying that I am the jazz lore master, but I am the jazz lore. But I am saying that Joni Mitchell can tell one heck of a story. Stevie Wonder can tell a story. We need to, if we want to bring the general public back to jazz, we should focus on how it makes them feel, not just musically, but through the words.
Yeah, I'm Irish, and part of Irish culture and ballads, the words are hugely important. And we became a very vocal society because, the British made it illegal literally to speak Irish, and also even used to have hedge schools.
Wow.
So people used to learn how to literally, speak in hidden places, to learn in hidden places. Because I think that's why we talk a bit too much, because we were always, it's in our DNA now, literally to talk about things rather than even write them down. We just chat a lot, But I think narrative is really important, and kind of, you are storytellers, and the Americans always been great at that. I'm a huge Springsteen fan as well, and I love his narrative. Funny enough, going to Mike Rogers from Manfred Mann, they covered 3 Bruce Springsteen tracks off the same album. Brilliant. And but again, the storytelling side of it, just wonderful, and I love that about American artists. They can do it, I think, probably better than anybody else. Did you get any opportunities off the back of winning the Grammy? Did it change your life in that respect? Do you feel?
Oh yeah.
A lot more work come?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, totally. Listen, before the Grammys, I was a I still consider myself a blue collar working musician. I was never above any gig. I was never above taking a wedding, taking a background piano man gig. Like I said, I was in every type of band. I toured with a folk band. I was a working musician in New York City who was just happy to make her living singing for her supper. And that's how I met so many people throughout my career. But when I won the Grammy, all of a sudden I went from an independent artist who had no team at all. The team was me and my husband, drummer and composer and arranger, Dan Pugach. We were two musicians living in Brooklyn, saving dogs, fostering dogs, and just trying to make it work. So we would go on tour, lose money. And we would book the shows, they'd get canceled because no one bought tickets. And we would just keep trying to do that while holding residencies in New York City. But when I won the Grammy, suddenly I have a booking agent and I have a manager who I no longer have a manager because I manage myself. So far, it's like until I get the perfect, huge manager, I'm like, I've been doing this for a long time, managing myself. I got it. You know, we've been doing it. And we have so many doors open, like here I am with you. You know, that to me is a...
It's success.
It's success to me because I get to have great conversations and tell the world that being a musician is not super easy for everybody. Not everybody is born into stardom. Not everybody, you know, is young and is suddenly like amazing, prodigical, and they take off. Sometimes it takes a long time to find your authentic voice and to find who you are, and that's what happened for me. It just took me longer than a lot of people to figure out what I really had to say and whether it was important enough to say. So the Grammy changed my life. I'm super grateful, and the Recording Academy does beautiful work outside of just the Grammys. They do advocacy on Capitol Hill for creator rights. They do music education, Grammy in the schools, which I've done a lot of volunteer work for. They have the Grammy Museum, which also like upholds the history, and also Music Cares is one of the partners, which takes care of the musicians in need. So the Recording Academy is a beautiful organization that is taking care of musicians and bringing musicians together.
Amazing. Just to remind you guys to please remember to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss any new episodes. It means a lot to us. So, when you were growing up, you grew up in Connecticut, didn't you?
Yes.
And you started playing trombone, didn't you, I think?
Yes.
Where
Yes,
did that come from? The trombone. I just can't see it was a...
Yeah, trust
I don't
me.
see it, but hey.
I was so insecure.
Were you any good?
No, I wasn't. No, I was not good.
And percussion as well. Were you a drummer?
Yeah, I also tried to. I always had good rhythm, but the ironic part is I can't read rhythm.
Right.
Never have been able to. Still can't. It's like a mental, neurodivergent, weird thing. I write all my music. I write all the stuff in odd meter, but I just can't write it down and I can't read it. So I'd be trombone section in big bands or in band, and I would wait for everyone to play the rhythm, and then I would read the notes because I could read the notes and I could read chords, etc. But that's my little weird thing. But I picked up trombone because the music teacher was like, "Oh, you should play trombone because you can get scholarship later for music schools, and that's what you will need." I was like, "Cool,
Smart.
I'll do that."
So do they still, because I remember there was a period in America, like in the UK, where there was instruments at schools kids could pick up, especially for the working class kids who didn't have any money. They could, and that's where a lot of the great bands came from, especially within the black community and soul music. You had all those amazing black bands, you don't have so much anymore, where they had music programs in the schools and they could get access to instruments, and you don't get that so much anymore with all the cuts that happened over the last 30 years.
Yeah,
Is that true?
It's a huge tragedy. I remember growing up, there was the huge Save the Music campaign, which was gigantic. And because people subsidize music instruments and music courses, and the first thing that people cut is the most beautiful thing, which blows my mind in music. Like the first thing that people will cut on a political side or people in power is the arts. But what's the first thing that they do to copy it with AI? The arts. So they'd rather cut the human aspect of the arts, the funding for music education, and the support for creators. But what's the first thing that they're doing with AI? They're not teaching us how to get someone to clean the house or do my taxes. They're stealing songs and stealing how graphic design work and artistic photographs and everything. So, it's...
I don't know that, I'm kind of, every time I fly over here for a podcast, I'm like a sort of strange man who if I had a couple of young people beside me on the plane, I'd just say, excuse me, do you listen to AI music? No. And do you like AI music? Absolutely not. Hate it. It's horrible. Are you interested in the future of it? No.
Yeah.
Young people aren't as daft as they think. I think they'll just decide, like, at some point, like Facebook became very uncool for young people. They all just went to Instagram. I think they're going to go that way with AI. It's going to peak, and then it's going to be like a novelty. People want to see real artists. I watched the McCartney. I listened, should I say, to the McCartney book about after the Beatles when he formed Wings. It's marvelous. If you have Spotify, it's on. If you got Spotify, it's fantastic. Especially about his relationship with Linda. It's just beautiful. It was like one of the great romances, in the world. Really, really moving. And it's a fantastic read. And but it's like those people sort of just found their way. They found a way. They were resilient. And I just think now with young people, they're just going to figure it out. You know what? This isn't working. This isn't working for us. We're not going to listen to that. So they can do all they like with AI. I think people are going to get bored of it. It's rubbish. But my point, going back to the Beatles, was that I started listening to a lot of Beatles again and McCartney. And in the end, I like the mistakes. I like you hear the odd note that's a little, it's not quite there.
Right.
I like it. I like hearing that now. I don't want perfection.
Correct.
And I think more people are going to go to that. And also just becoming a great musician, not using too much technology, that's going to become revered.
Right.
Just to be brilliant. Sitting like you do at the piano and playing a song, it's going, oh my God, she can actually play a piano and sing a song. And they're going to want that. Because people crave, for me, that intimacy. And that AI just irons out everything. It's a gimmick.
I love that you have rose-colored glasses.
I do like to see the world that way sometimes.
I do love that. I do love, because I do believe I've seen a resurgence of people being interested in more difficult music with like Leve and Alessia Cara. All these people are making jazz records. So people are kind of coming back to more difficult, I call it intellipop. All these little things, intellectual pop music. They're coming back to that. But I still really believe that whether or not we want to listen to AI, it is there.
Yeah.
So they're not choosing to listen to AI artists because AI is still learning from the artists. And so it's getting better and better. And the problem is that we soon won't be able to tell if it's made by AI or if it's made by a human, because they're copying us with no restrictions as human creators.
Yeah, we got to
which is terrifying. Yeah.
But that's only useful to them in a broadcast sense, because to build an artist, you still need an artist to turn up and play. You can't get AI to do that.
Or we're going to do holograms like Michael.
Yeah, come on. It's if you look at the bigger picture, I think where the big hits are going to be is in production music. Especially people, like a lot of our friends make money from production music. I've made money from making production music. And I know that a couple of years now, that's all going to fall off the edge of a cliff. The major labels will throw us all under the bus. Sorry, major labels. We know what you're up to. You think we're stupid?
Down with the makeup.
Come on, I'm from Finglas and Dublin. You're going to throw us under the bus, right? We all know that. But so I'll diversify, do other things, go back to playing live more, or whatever. You'll find a way to get around it. But that's where the real hit's going to be. But nobody can do what you can do. Nobody, with all your experience and everything else, they can copy it. The thing about the AI is, I think they can. You have to keep updating it as well, because it can't get better, because it's just using stuff that's pre-exists. You know what I mean? It's just gimmicky. I'm not convinced by it. And I talked to the president of BMG recently about it last week. And I said, are you worried about it? He said, we were at the start, but now we've just done a deal 5 years with Netflix for production music. And he's like, so no. He said, it's kind of getting this, we don't really want it.
It sounds like the president of BMG has stock in AI. That's what it sounds like to me.
No, he's thinking it's not going to catch on.
He's trying to make his money. Listen, I want that to happen. I want that to be the reality. I want people to make the right decision, but AI is a boat with many holes, and we're trying to patch it with duct tape, and nobody is paying attention to that. And I think that, right now, if we're in a restaurant and what we hear in the background are AI versions, or like, there's a lot of ghost like people who are tech bros, who are making fake bands, who have connections to editorial Spotify playlists and all that stuff, and they're suddenly have these famous hits with these, half of it's made with AI and half of it's like a fake band, and they're making money passively, while the rest of us, you're saying there's nothing like a live performance. And I'm like, well, yeah, we're singing for our supper live, but I would love a passive income. That would involve a restaurant in Croatia when I'm sitting there not playing AI music or not playing an AI version of me. So I would love to see the fall for the sake of the environment. I want what you're saying to be true. I want us to stop wasting water and resources and everything and start to think for ourselves and really focus on the resilience of the human mind and fight for human creator rights and human creation. The one thing that separates us from AI, in my opinion, is that we feel shame. And so far, I don't think the robots feel embarrassed and shame yet. It might say, oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you, but like we feel shame. And that is, I think, we should lean into the shame for creating it in the first place.
I'm hearing you. I was saying to my wife the other day, when did being in a union become a bad thing? When did union become like a bad idea? It's like, it's kind of being bashed now. If musicians banded together more, we could stop anything, and we don't do it. Why don't we do it more? I mean, I rarely interact with the Musicians Union, and I know they still exist, but there's no union really fighting it. Not that I hear of. I don't hear anything. I stopped paying into the union several years ago. I even forgot about it, because they never get in touch with me or anything. I just said, I used to pay them dues years ago, and then it just stopped.
Yes.
So, in the UK, with Thatcher coming on, they bashed the unions, get rid of the unions. It's like, sorry, what? People banding together to protect themselves, that's a bad thing. Maybe for the bosses it's a bad thing, but not for the guys on the shop floor.
Right.
And we're the guys on the shop floor. So I think we can stop a lot of things. I think there is a moment now where we do need to legislate for it, because it is using pre-existing tracks to learn AI.
Right.
And I think, I don't trust the majors. I'm waiting for the moment where they come and try to buy me out. As I've got hundreds of tracks on production music tracks I've done over the years, and they make me a significant amount of passive income, significant. And I think that will all just stop one day. But I think the reason for it is because they'll want to buy us out, and we'll see. But it'll all be for pittance, like Spotify. It'll all come down. You get 0.5 every time a track is used. If you can even prove they used your track. I mean, the policing of it is very difficult. But I don't know. This conversation's going to. We'll see where it goes. But ultimately, big money often wins the day. And that's the problem we've got here. Unless we band together and stop it.
We're going to write more protest songs.
But there's a problem. I spoke to another friend of mine last week about it. He said there's a lot of composers in the background writing stuff for Suno, and they're writing stuff.
Yes, because nobody supports the art. So those composers need a paycheck.
Yeah.
People need money because there's no grants. I mean, especially in America, they're just like, buy arts funding. That's not important. So how do people make a living? They've created, oh man, I sound like a conspiracy theory. They have created an economy in which musicians have to say yes to things that may be against their scruples and morals, because they're like, well, how else do I make a living? I'm not making any money from streaming. There's not enough venues because a lot of them closed from COVID. And who's gonna pay my bills? Well, Suno's dangling this carrot, and they got the money, and they do a buyout. They're not even gonna give them royalties, I'm sure.
No.
If somebody from Suno is working, you tell me if Suno's giving you royalties, if they're giving you a buyout. Tell me that.
It's all. Nobody's telling anyone. People are doing it and not telling anyone.
Yeah. We're telling everyone.
Yeah, we know
Rob,
you're up to.
I Jesus, I need a freaking drink.
Anyway, before I go off on some tirade here, because I'm Irish, give me half a minute and I'll rant on for, I'm a stubborn paddy with an attitude problem, you know what I mean? So it could go terribly wrong.
Losing it.
But so let's go back to your early days. You went to NYU.
Back to you, Nicole.
Yes, let's get back to you.
Now that we've
to reality.
Okay.
So you studied classical voice at NYU.
Yes.
So did you start out wanting to be an opera singer?
I wanted to be Whitney Houston, and I just could not sing like her, and I wanted to, and it just didn't work. So what I could do was I had a huge voice. I was also like a big girl. Like I had to play on the boys soccer team when I was young because I was really strong and really athletic, and it was really good for my self-esteem. I was like, yeah, I'm really sexy playing on the boys soccer team. But, next thing you know, I'm like, well, I can sing opera really well. And
Sorry, go back to I'm a football fan. What position did you play?
Striker and goalkeeper.
Keeper?
Keeper and striker.
Wow, okay.
And sometimes center mid, but I'm not really much of a runner. I never was.
Myself and Jerry here, we're both football fans. So what team did you support?
I mean, I was always into the Forza Roma.
All right, not English football. Did you follow any English teams?
I would.
Like who would you support if you had to in the UK? Sorry?
Who would you support?
Chelsea, Arsenal?
Oh, maybe Arsenal.
Okay. Because we've had him on the podcast, is Petr Cech, one of the greatest goalkeepers in the world.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's a good mate of mine, but he's been on the show. I mean, I'm just a huge football fan. And he plays drums, so any excuse to get him on the show, just because he plays drums, that's good enough. That's enough of the link.
That's music.
Yeah, that's music. We talked about football 5 minutes in the end about music. No, actually,
so cool.
He's a huge music fan, but I want to know all about his life, so any excuse to get him on the show. It was great fun. But so you played football. So did you want to be a professional footballer or?
Yeah, and then I hurt I did. And then I hurt myself. I played Olympic development.
Was that playing in France?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, you were... Robcast did his homework. Famous producer Robcast knows that I hurt myself playing soccer in France. That's fantastic. Yeah. So I just, and I was actually delighted because I wasn't bonding with the people in like the soccer. I actually was getting kind of like bullied by some of the soccer people at camps, et cetera, because I was always the youngest person on the team.
Really? Okay.
And I was I'm a strange little person. And so I'd be like journaling while everyone else was like out drinking, and then it was just terrible. So I was like, yeah, I hurt myself. So I just kept eating like I was a football player. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm an opera singer now. And so I went and studied opera, and I had a beautiful teacher in middle school. I had a beautiful teacher at NYU. I studied in Italy as an opera singer, but I just always was writing music, even within the classical realm. I would be singing and Puccini, who could be better than Puccini? There's nothing, you can't do better than that. But I would hear other lines and kind of like embellish it. And then the orchestra would be like, no, that's not what happens here. But at the same time, I was in summer times studying, I guess I found a job for myself shadowing jazz greats at the Litchfield Jazz Camp in Connecticut. They didn't have a teaching assistant position for the vocals. I loved singing jazz because I was always singing. I was playing trombone and singing jazz in high school and stuff. And so I started learning jazz, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I can improvise over here, but not over here. And then I started writing my first songs, and I ended up just choosing the jazz route.
But they're two completely different disciplines.
Completely different.
Because if you're talking about jazz is unamplified and jazz is amplified, and as a singer, we know the huge difference in how you use your voice. Totally. So you were playing two very different roles for a while there, like trying to dance between the two. And it's impossible because the middle voice is the one that's the most susceptible to change. And I had an opera director say to me, Nicole, I noticed that your middle voice is not as strong this year as it was last year. And I had been doing a ton more jazz, and I was really getting into transcribing more jazz music, and I started making a living, like playing little bars in Connecticut. And I was like, man, you kind of nailed it. I can't sing this middle stuff unamplified anymore because I've been using a microphone there. Sure. I can still do the high stuff, but I can't do the middle stuff. It's just not carrying. So I had to switch. And I was like, I guess I'm a jazz singer now. Kill me. Yeah.
Before we continue, take a look at what's on your screen right now. If you cut our recent conversation with dopeYEAH, you'll love this. He teamed up with clearaudio on an exclusive collaboration. the Celebrity Aldemiola Edition turntable. This is where high-end audio engineering meets pure artistic identity. Designed in the shape of his iconic black Gibson Les Paul, it's not just visually striking, it's a true reflection of the connection between music and craftsmanship. clearaudio has been building world-class audio equipment in Germany since 1978, and everything they do is driven by precision, passion, and a relentless pursuit of analog perfection. This edition is limited to just 1,000 pieces and comes with a numbered special release album by Aldemiola and a guitar pick, making it a true collector's item. If you care about sound design and the experience of music, this is another level. Check the link in the description to find out more.
And you had a couple of issues with your voice for a little while, didn't you?
Well, in the beginning, I was singing too high to sing jazz. I didn't know the language. Like, jazz is a language. It's a tradition. And I didn't quite understand that because I didn't come up through jazz academia. So nobody was like pushing down my throat, transcribe, learn Hank Mobley, I was at jazz camp hearing those things and going, I'm not interested in learning a saxophone solo. I want to learn what Saravan's singing. And so I was kind of learning in front of everybody. And, luckily, again, knocking on wood, I've never had any true vocal health issues until this year, where I was talking over loud music and having too much fun in LA for like 4 days, and I managed to give myself a vocal hemorrhage, not singing.
Yeah. It's terrifying. We were talking before the podcast. I did a show here at the club where we're doing the podcast before Christmas. We did a few shows, one after the other. And one of the nights, just before the last show, the second last show, and there was someone standing in front of my monitor the whole time, and I just oversang for 2 or 3 tracks. Next morning, my voice was completely gone. It was terrifying. I mean, it was the first time in my whole career I've lost my voice completely. And it was really, I don't think, people realise how hard it is for singers touring, and the disciplines you've got to put in place if you're going to get through a long tour.
Right.
So how do you deal with that? I mean, do you have processes? Do you warm up every day?
Yeah, so I actually saw a speech pathologist, and I recommend that singers see a speech pathologist, even if you've never had a vocal injury, because a lot of the speaking technique can facilitate a healthy voice for you when you're singing. So I try to be mindful. Like, for example, today I taught a beautiful workshop for 3 hours, and I was kind of speaking in the mask. I'm speaking here. But later on tonight, instead of speaking in this masky resonant space in the singer's format almost, I can kind of go into a more chill voice to relax the larynx, not whisper, as we discussed. Whispering is bad. Mm-hmm. More breath, more diction, things that make people come to me as opposed to me shouting to them, and kind of going into this like Delilah voice, which is good for the voice as well. So that's something. And then when I can't drink too many beers or wines, because then I get overexcited.
Yeah.
And I'm like shouting at the bar about AI.
Yeah, I'm animated as well. This is what, when I used to tour back in the day, I became a real bore because I stopped going out because of talking.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do interviews because I was just too much talking, And people used to think I was a bit of a diva, and I'm, come on, I just want to try and get to the next gig because I was singing rock,
It's too much,
with people, and it was like full on every night. Belting out, really, hitting high C's.
You're a tenor, right?
Yeah, and I could really knock it out of the park. Without bragging, I could do it, but it was hard, man.
Yeah,
it was and it was stressful. Just thinking, can I get through the tour? And but I admire how because you do huge amount. You sing every day, really, of your life.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
So part of your warm up, how long does that take? And I'm curious about how you protect your voice.
Yeah. So.
The warm up,
the protection for me started with training at a young age. I'm super fortunate that I was trained in a classical way with pedagogy that was focused only on healthy resonant singing, as opposed to just like learning from the Academy of the Streets to sing, which is also amazing. And some of the best singers ever never took a voice lesson in their life. You don't need to take a voice lesson to be a good singer. But for me, with the amount of music that I sing and the amount of gigs that I've been doing, even when I was a blue-collar musician versus now a touring headliner, the technique saves me, because if something is off, I know how to adjust so that I can sing through without hurting myself. And the voice is about the size of your thumbnail, and it's super, super sensitive.
It's fragile.
It's super fragile, and if you hurt it, it takes a long time to fix. So I have
Yeah, it took me my voice to come back about 10 days, 2 weeks.
that sounds about right. And that's lucky. You could have had something worse, like a node or a polyp or something along those lines. A hemorrhage can heal with vocal rest. And so I do like a 10-minute warm-up. And I can tell if I don't warm up because someone's in my dressing room, and they're chatting with me, or I feel insecure because the rooms aren't soundproof.
Right.
I get on stage and I notice that for the first 2 songs, I don't have my full facility of my instrument, and it's just better to warm up 10 to 20 minutes. With a straw is great too.
Yeah, the thing with the straw. They have all little gadgets now you can...
Yeah. It's called
I've never used one.
semi-occluded vocal tract exercise.
Do they work?
Yeah. You, if I had a straw, you sing through.
I've never done it. Yeah.
You blow the bubbles through the bubbles, and then it's almost like a reverse massage for your vocal cords, and it helps.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I'll show you.
So with obviously, I mean, was the bottom line is that you just felt you were a better jazz singer than an opera singer?
I thought I was
Did you
pretty
feel
terrible.
that your tone? Because there is this thing with sometimes singers don't realize what they're best at, and I'm a big believer in go that way. I mean, I made mistakes in my own career. I was a rock singer when I was younger, and I was good at it. But then I kind of turned around, I saw Spinal Tap, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And I wanted to be this blue-eyed soul singer.
That's hilarious.
But really, the honest truth is I'm a kind of blues rock singer. That's what I'm really good at. And I was good at faking, like blue-eyed soul, but I was never quite there. I could pass it off really well, but really, I'm a blues rock singer. That's what I do. I should have stuck with that. Anyway, I'm happy with my life, producing and all the other stuff. But at the same time, it was like, as a singer, that was a mistake. I made the wrong choice at that time. And obviously, from listening to your records, I think you most definitely made the right choice, because I think, all those influences I hear and your delivery and your kind of ability to connect emotionally with the listener, because you can sing, your emotional range is quite massive, from really quiet to loud. And to those full-on belter vocals. I love that. And the tone stays great all the way through the notes. That's a real thing. It's a rare thing. So I've got female singer friends of mine. They're great little parts of their voice, but not across the whole range. The tone kind of changes. And like in the middle, I've got a friend of mine, I won't mention her name, she's a really good mate, but she's great. Like a really quiet voice and a really screamy voice. But in the middle,
she has a big break,
it's just not really there, and I think it's part why she wasn't as successful as she could have been. So, you decided on jazz, and so then you decided to start playing piano as well. So you're self-taught on the piano.
Yes.
I mean, great. I mean, I think your piano player is terrific.
Thanks. It's getting better day by day. Like I'm still learning.
Really amazing chords. I mean, how did you just pick up the piano so easy? Were you not playing piano earlier on in your life?
So I tried to take piano lessons when I was young, but I couldn't read music. I couldn't read the rhythms, and it would just be really frustrating. And then the teacher would play it, and I would just play it by ear.
Dave Brubeck never had any lessons.
Exactly.
He was self-taught. Nobody knows. Actually, that's a lie. He went to music school, never learned how to read.
Okay, good. So I actually knew Dave Brubeck's family, and I opened for him, and that gives me a lot of joy. I tried to take Suzuki piano lessons because that's more by ear.
Sure.
But it just wasn't sticking. And then when I moved back to New York, when I was like, I'm a jazz singer now, in 2009, I auditioned for a wedding agency to be a singer, but I was just this kind of oddball. I was wearing glasses, they were like, be sexy and sing. I was like, okay. So I was like, ain't no mountain high enough. And they're like, good, now be sexier. I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm too weird. So I saw a piano. I played the piano. terribly. And they're like, great, you're hired as a piano player. Next thing you know, I'm a piano player playing in like gigantic events in New York City, fake playing with the volume down, learning. It was horrible. But I think when I got better at piano was when I started to play by myself.
Right.
I had to play by myself, literally like Billy Joel, Piano Man, taking requests. And I was like, well, what do I do with my left hand? I better learn how to walk a bass. So next thing you know, I'm walking basses, teaching myself how to walk a bass when I'm at home. And then I'm like, well, this is really boring if I'm just playing chords. What do I do with my right hand? Oh, I better figure out some other things I can do with my right hand. And then I also played to track, which is like playing to a karaoke track at this place called Mastro Steakhouse for 5 hours, which I also called the Cave of Doom and Destruction. And that was like playing to a metronome for 5 hours.
Wow.
And I'm learning, and sometimes people, especially in jazz, will poo-poo the cover bands. They'll be like, I'm above weddings. I'm above playing covers. That's a sellout. And I'm like, congratulations that you have rich parents.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I got to study what songs stood the test of time for the eternity of music. So I'm playing to a metronome. I'm playing the songs that I'm studying the art of songcraft. And I learned so much about songwriting and music by playing those covers. I'm super grateful for them.
It's all a huge learning experience. When people look down and funny enough, I know a lot of amazing musicians who play with, like, especially session guys who play with huge artists. Like some of my friends play with Massive Attack, the rhythm section, like, and the bass player is a good mate of mine. I mean, when he's not busy, he plays in a wedding band. Even to this day, he says, I don't care. You're like £700 for the shawl, I'm there, you know? It's like,
Exactly.
And I mean, and this is what I was thinking about you.
Low
I mean,
pressure.
you're a trooper and you're resilient. And I would wager that if it was all to go horribly wrong tomorrow, you'd go back to basics.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I know I had to at one point in my career. I remember when I was in a rock band, with quite a big rock band in the UK, and it all went horribly wrong. And then I had to go busking for like a few months to actually just to pay my rent.
No
but it
kidding.
was hugely beneficial. In the end, it was amazing. I did it with my friend Lisa Hunt, who's this soul singer from New York. She's a really good friend. She was like, come on, Rob, get you off your ass, man. We got to get down and do some busking. Oh, I don't want to do that. Come on, come on. And she just kicked my arse, and she was like, got me, you know, we put a little backing track together in my little home studio, and we went down to Covent Garden, and so I started, you know, it's the first time you busk, and it's, oh my gosh, it's terrifying. And then people stop, and then we were making like £1,000 a weekend. And it was amazing. And people just go and listen to speak because they thought we were miming, because she was an amazing singer as well. She's this gospel singer from New York. But we would do duets. But my point being is that, you know, it was humbling, but it was like, yeah, this is what it's about. And I don't think people within the industry look down at people, because we've all had to struggle.
Right.
You know, we've all had, and you know, great art comes out of struggle. That's the truth, isn't it?
And some of the best musicians I've ever met are playing in wedding bands and are playing in the back of bars and restaurants. They're amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is where my chip on my shoulder probably comes out. But you know,
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know the rich kids, you know, and the very upper middle class kids with mummy and daddy paying for everything, and you know, they're going to these different schools, and I don't know, it just doesn't. Maybe I'm an old fart, but I just don't think that's where the great art comes from. You know, without that journey, you know, it's too comfortable. You know, you can't write great songs about being comfortable.
Yeah, you have to cut your teeth. You have to cut your teeth. Wow, we sound old.
Yeah, I am.
That is true.
Yeah, but you know, that's how, you know, I've only listened to music from the 70s. No, I don't. But, you know, but I don't know. The artists are really, but younger artists, I think it's a struggle for them, because in the UK, for instance, I think it's become so difficult for young working class kids to get into music. It's been kind of hijacked by the middle class. And I think that's a problem, because the best music, as I said earlier on, comes from struggle, and they don't have any struggle. So where's the emotional journey? I don't see it. So I don't get moved. It's okay. It's not terrible. It's well done. It's well produced, well sung. But I'm not feeling anything.
We're also living in a 90-second algorithm society where kids that I work with as an educator think that they just have to do something for 90 seconds really well, and that makes them a fantastic musician, because that's the length of an Instagram reel or a TikTok video. And so there's a lot of great artists who have maybe like made a career going viral on social media, And I'm not above trying. I'm trying over here on socials, and I actually really respect the ones that get a ton of followers and can monetize that. I think it's really great. But for me, the younger generation is like, all I have to do is do something for 90 seconds really well and just like transcribe a solo and sing it. Only 30 seconds or 60 seconds of a solo, and that means that I am a good musician. And I'm like, can you do a 90-minute set? Can you sing a 90-minute set without losing your voice?
Yeah.
Can you sing a 90-minute set full of songs that fully engage with the audience? Did you write any of that music? It's fine if you don't write. Not everyone has to write. I don't want to make singers or musicians feel bad for not writing. Can you do something for 90 minutes instead of 90 seconds? And I think that's what separates the pros from this new social media generation. And the expectation of the youth is that all you need is 1 minute worth of fantastic, and the reality is that no, you need 90 minutes of fantastic. You need 7 days worth of fantastic to be a real artist.
Yeah, well, they come. It's a blip. They come and they're gone, and they wonder why. But you got to put in the hard work, And as you said, but they don't last, and they never will last. Nobody will remember them. And,
I know.
And it's a shame, because I don't blame kids for that. They're being conditioned by social media, and even the way record companies started doing this thing where they didn't want tracks that had intros. Just get straight to the chorus and silly stuff like that. But I believe in young people that way. I think they'll kick back in the end. You can only tell them what to do for so long. There will be changes. I really believe.
I love that. There's those rose-colored glasses.
They will kick back. They'll want something different. I have to believe that. Otherwise, where are we going to go with music? It's going to be awful.
Right.
And so, challenges of being a woman in a mainly jazz world that's mainly run by men and men players. What would they be for you think?
Well, they were way worse before the Me Too movement.
Sure.
They were terrible. Holy cow. I was, coming up as a woman in jazz was rough. I remember I see a lot of these same men who would not even have could never do it now. And they see me, and I've had a lot of them apologize and be like, Nicole, I'm really sorry about what I said, back in 2003, 2005, 2007, 2009, all that stuff.
So what was it, like sexual innuendos? Or?
Oh, yeah, like invitations or people, holding the carrot. Like, if you do this, then I can make a career, blah, 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 blah. I mean, luckily I'm not, it's hard to pull the wool over my eyes, so I never really suffered past the actual innuendos and the sexual harassment vocally, and
trying to sell you that line, it's not who you know, it's who you blow. Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. I did not have to do any of that, because
maybe we'll cut that. My stepson told me that it's from a comedy.
No, but people. That's like people
Thank
actually.
You, Felix. That's a good line.
Felix is like.
Might be a bit too risque, but anyway.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I was with Dan since 2009, so it's like, I remember when I was showing up as a single woman on the scene, I was like, I can make a star out of you, kid. And then when I came and I was like, this is my boyfriend, Dan. They're like, who's this chick? Who cares?
That's horrible, isn't it? It's really, really horrible. That's dreadful stuff.
But that's why I think I honed in on my music skills, so that I wasn't seen as just a quote-unquote singer. I was seen as a musician. That's why I started playing the piano. That's why I wrote. That's why I produced all the records. That's why I chose the bands. I was always on the bandstand. Learned how to lead a band. I don't just sit on the stage and have a MD count me in. I count it all in. It's kind of like this masculine energy that a lot of women musicians are forced to acquiesce in order to make people respect us, because they immediately give, dumb chick singer energy to us, and we have to be like, okay, no, and you have to like lead back with this masculine energy. But I actually quite love, I actually love being in charge of these places, especially in having, when I'm producing something, having the whole room of guys, the first thing they do is like, okay. And then by the end, they're like, thank you so much. This was so terrific, you know. And I'm just like, okay, good. You know, the tables have turned. I hope that I make it easier for other women by hopefully leading the way. Yeah, I don't know.
I congratulate you for that. It's a tough gig, but someone's got to do it, you know?
Yeah, sign me up.
So can you remember the first time you played with a rock and jazz band? Like, you obviously, you know, you're dabbling, you moved from opera to jazz, and you're learning your chops, and you're doing loads of different things. Can you remember the first time you did a proper jazz gig with a proper jazz band?
Oh my God, what a great question. That wasn't my band. Man. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm being gimmicky by giving my husband a shout out, but he has a nonette, a 9-piece ensemble. He arranged all the horns, Dan Pugach nonette, and also the Dan Pugach big band. And I remember we started playing at the 55 Bar, which was this incredible jazz club that we both had residencies at in New York City. Once a month we would play there with either of our bands in this tiny bar with like black mold on the ceiling and like this incredible history. All the microphones had like Sweet Georgia Brown's lipstick and they were all bent and it smelled like shoot. It was horrible. And the beers were served to us by our friends who were the bartenders. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful place. I remember playing with the nonette in that small space with all the horns and just feeling this, like, oh my God, we are playing jazz in New York City at the highest possible level in a famous club, and it felt so beautiful. So, you know, God rest the 55 Bar.
Amazing. And the first big band, I mean, that was kind of nearly a big band, wasn't it? I suppose you could call it a big band. So
we also fit a big band in the 55 Bar. We took half the seats of the club out, but it's fine.
I mean, the power of that as well. The power is huge, isn't it? The big band.
It's like
in
riding
full
a wave.
Flow.
Yes. Flow is like riding a wave. That's what it feels like.
And also, you have to be able to cut it, your voice to cut over that. You know, to cut over a big band. I mean, I know it's amplified, but still, you know, it's a lot of noise behind you.
And I encourage singers to really learn how to EQ a microphone and to stand up for themselves as a vocalist with the sound engineer and learn how to ask for great sound both in your monitor and also in the house, because that really can help avoid a vocal injury, can make sure that you can be heard. And a lot of singers are afraid to mic check because they think that they're going to like be a diva. Right. But it's super, super important to have a good microphone and be amplified well, especially over a big band.
Yeah, you don't use in-ears at all?
No, I'm kind of old school. I've done a couple of gigs where they have in-ears and I end up just pulling it out and having the monitor. That's the old school part of me.
Yeah, I just bought some in-ears recently after my last horrifying episode. And I'm never letting that happen again.
Yes, exactly.
But it's like, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I like them. I've used them before on some big shows, and I love them personally. It's just you have to remember to feed some of the audience in. Otherwise, it's weird when you kind of look at and you just see this. And you just what's going on, you know?
That's correct.
So there's that kind of lack of engagement with the audience. That's the downside of it.
Right.
It's kind of,
right.
You know, but if you have some mics out in the audience, you can hear the crowd clapping, and it gets around that. But at least it gets around the thing of just when you can't hear yourself and you start over singing.
Right.
You know, I think it's just that one song can do it. You know, 1-2 songs max, you know, that's it, it's gone.
Right. That's it. Fragile little voice.
So you've got 4 kids. How do you manage that?
4 kids?
Have you got 4 kids?
No. I don't have any children.
Have you not? I thought you had kids. We'll have to cut that one. Someone must have. I read you had 4 children. Someone told me you had 4 children.
Oh, that's amazing. Can you keep that? That's really, it's really hilarious. No.
I was like, how do you tour with 4 children?
Oh, good God, no.
Oh, you must be just joking. I read you somewhere, I've got 4 kids, but I was like, okay, you didn't go on about it. She never talks about her kids. So I was like, you're
She's
probably
the
just
most
taking the
hateful
piss.
mother ever. No, I mean, I love dogs. We have frozen children. We have frozen embryos. I don't know. No, we don't. No, we just, it's one or the other.
Yeah. It's too hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any children of my own.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, I've got stepkids, but you know, just always working. It's a real thing. You got to kind of sometimes just give up. Was it a conscious choice for you?
Yeah, it definitely was. Especially because at the age that my career actually started to go well was at 38. And, the women's biological clock starts ticking at 36. Then they call you a geriatric pregnancy and all that stuff. And it just wasn't working out for me until then. And then COVID hit at 36. And then next thing you know, it's 38. And I have How Love Begins that comes out. And I'm going, well, this is it. I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket. And if this doesn't work, then I'm going to quit, become a wildlife rehabilitator. And
literally put your eggs in a basket.
Yeah, literally put pigeons' eggs in a basket and grows eggs. Literally, exactly. And so, yeah, I'm like fighting against this biological clock. So I don't mind talking about it. It's like I ended up last year at 39 doing IVF just to store my eggs. And because I'm like, well, I'm fighting the clock. I'm on tour 12 months a year. I'm living out of a suitcase 12 months a year. I'm home one week a month. How am I supposed to have a kid? And when you've, for your entire life, fought for respect, for validation, for an audience, for a career, and then you finally get it, you're like, yeah, just kidding. I'm going to go have a child. It's the hardest decision that a woman, I think, can make, especially one who is nurturing. Like I love to love. I feel like I feel like I could be perfectly happy adopting a child, or like I love children and animals and people. Like it would be natural for me to be a mom, but...
Oh, they're overrated. Get a dog.
Yeah, I have many dogs.
I'm joking.
We got the dog thing, yeah.
Because you had the pit bulls. How did that all come about?
Oh, my poor little pit bulls. And if anyone says one bad thing about pit bulls, I'm going to be
I'm a dog lover,
furious.
so.
Yeah, they're the most misunderstood breed, misrepresented. They're the easiest to take advantage of and torture, and they're easiest to access, therefore easiest to mistreat. And I didn't know that New York City had kill shelters, and I didn't know when I moved back there in 2010, someone was like, oh, I happened to see on Facebook this 9-month-old, they called it a lab mix, which is just key for pit bull mix, puppy that was on the youth list, the euthanasia list. And so the dog was supposed to be euthanized, and I thought it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing that happened, not something that happens to millions of pit bulls per year. And so I ran to the shelter and I was like, I have to adopt that dog, Ozzy, like a crazy person. And I took the dog, and then I had to go to my, at that point, drummer's house, who now is my husband, because I wasn't allowed to have dogs in Queens. And we started to just foster and adopt out these pit bulls, because what I learned, having grown up with Rottweilers, mutts, mixed breeds, that the pits were the most gentle, the most loyal, the sweetest, and again, the most misunderstood and the most mistreated. And I'm not someone who does something the easy way. So it just kind of fits my personality. Then I'm like, also I would like the dog that's banned in multiple countries.
I know.
But I really recommend giving a pit bull a chance. And for anyone who's like, oh, what about the children? Don't leave your freaking dogs with children.
Yeah, don't leave them on their own with any time.
With any breed.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. And introductions are so important, and any dog, they're animals. So just be cognizant and be wary, and, they're amazing creatures.
Yeah, you can't not love a dog.
You cannot love a dog.
I mean, they'll give you everything.
Yeah.
They're just I've always thought my secret kind of other job, if I had one, would be a dog walker. Honestly, when you see somebody with about 10 dogs walk, I'm always so jealous. That looks so much fun. It's like, if I wasn't in music, I'd love to be a dog walker.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? Because they're always in such good mood when they're going to the park, aren't they? It's like, we're going to the park, every single time.
You're just petting dogs
like dogs, they don't go, oh, we're going to the park. Oh, we're going to the park. Yes. It's amazing. You're going to throw a ball.
And they're thrilled to see you. They're like, you're so happy to see you.
So it's just, every time I see those dog walkers with like 5 or 6 dogs, I'm like, I love that gig, walking dogs. But so it's become quite a big passion for you and your husband, isn't it? He feels similarly about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the big band record that won the Grammy is called Bianca Reimagined Music for Pause and Persistence. And it has a big old picture of Bianca, our pit bull, one of our first pit bulls that we ended up adopting. And we wrote a song called Little Fears, which was a song that we wrote for shelter animals, but also for the hostages. And then we also have Bella the Bear, which is a dog that we adopted who actually had some more behavioral issues because she was so severely abused, and she turned around and it ended up being this like awesome, sentient, gigantic mush. So we just kind of channeled our love for animals into music, and we donate all the proceeds of that record to animal rescues that we work with. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love if you could let us know by liking, commenting, or by sharing. Thanks so much.
So Dan, your husband, he's a musician as well. And so what are the advantages and disadvantages of that being a married music couple?
What day of the week are you asking me?
I know it's a tricky question, but
No, it's crazy.
I'm sure it's hard, and it's there's advantages and disadvantages. You understand each other's world for a start, which it's often very difficult for other, the other in the relationship understanding, that you're this is what you do. They still think it's a kind of hobby. No, this is my job. I really do this.
It's the greatest gift I've ever gotten in my life. I want to just start by saying that he is my muse. I'm his muse. We love each other dearly. I would give him my arm. He would give me his leg. We are excellent team, and we take care of each other, especially on the road. It's a beautiful gift. It's also incredibly difficult because promoters will find out that we're married and they'll be like, oh, you guys obviously want to stay in the same room, right? And we're just like, okay, well, we're in Europe where the rooms are tiny and the beds are tiny and we have 6 suitcases and we can't walk in the room, and then we're tripping over each other, and he has jet lag and he can't sleep, so he's awake until 3 and he's keeping me awake, and then I'm getting mad and then I'm getting grouchy, and it's like little stuff like that. There was a time in our relationship where we didn't know how to find space for each other because we were both struggling so hard.
It was pockets 24 hours a day.
Yeah, it was just really hard for him to be like, well, what about me? What about my career? And I was like, well, what about my career? And so now we work together, and we try to release records opposite years so that we don't interfere with each other and give each other space and respect. So, yeah.
So besides outside of music, your animal welfare work, and then there's your environmental activism. So that's very important to you?
Yeah, and I feel extraordinarily guilty flying around the world.
I know, I do too.
Don't you?
Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
And like when they hand me a bottle of water, I'm like, man, I should make sure that it says glass bottles. And then I'm like, it's so difficult to make a difference, but the starfish theory is how I kind of live my life, and it's like this thing where if you make a tiny little difference, it makes a difference. So with the environment, just like drawing attention to something as small as like people are like, oh, the straws and the sea turtles. I'm like, okay, well, I won't use a straw. I only thrift. I only thrift my clothes. I've done that since I was young out of necessity for money. And then when it started to be cool, I was like, wait, why is this cool now? I've been doing this anyways. So now I only buy secondhand, which is really good for the environment because of all of the, fast fashion waste that ends up in the ocean and stuff. And then just try to be cognizant. If my friend Serentip is an amazing activist who really wants to start an initiative where artist-writers are super green so that we can try to train people on how to make a writer that is better for the environment, especially for artists who already feel guilty. I mean, maybe you never thought about it, but you've clearly thought about it. We're flying, we're in cars, we're using petrol in the cars, we're flying in the freaking planes, our carbon footprints, if we're touring, is pretty big. So the way that I offset that is by trying to focus on the things that I can control, like only buy secondhand, try to reuse all my water bottles, try to not use a straw. I don't know, it's so hard because the human race is the most cruel of all the species. We're not good to the world.
I don't want to be all maudlin here and kind of slightly depressive, but I think it's kind of going, excuse me, backwards at the moment. I'm vegetarian and been vegetarian since I was about 12.
Amazing.
And, but I'm finding it hard again to find good vegetarian food. When I go to restaurants, there's like 2 or 3 dishes at most. It used to be like, there was a time when it was getting much better, like half the menu was nearly vegetarian, so it was great. But I found over the last couple of years, it's getting worse, less and less vegetarian dishes on the menus. And I don't know, we're in a strange time again where whatever, the right is rising and this compassion and for animals and for each other is kind of... again, these things come in waves, and I'm hoping we'll go out the other side of it soon. And, but on that side of it, it's a challenging time. I don't know if the care is there. There was a moment where I thought it was really happening, and that seems to have passed. And maybe it will come. It is difficult to kind of. I don't really see the will a lot of the time anymore to want to. Especially about the welfare of animals, which is a big passion of yours and of mine.
Yeah.
And there are people out there, but I don't know if there's enough of them out there to make a difference. And I'm hoping things will change again. But like eating meat again, like it's becoming a thing. Like the restaurants in New York and in London putting big meat dishes like meat. I'm like, do you understand the torture that's involved in bringing that steak to your plate?
Right, and also the impact of the environment.
On the
too.
environment,
Right.
there's so many aspects to it. But I won't stick on this subject because it's dear to your heart and mine, and we're here to talk about music. But again, it's just trying to find the love in the world, man. But it kind of is, and that's what we're trying to do with music. And I think that's what you've done with your albums. And I think this is where you can weigh it out between you turn up, you change the emotional space for people when you play. So
right.
You've travelled on a flight, yeah, okay, but you've given back in so many other ways, you know what I mean? Because the emotional well-being of your fellow humans for that hour is important too. So there's only so much you can do.
Right.
You can't, otherwise you just sit at home being terrified and you're not going anywhere. But I think we should say to people, look, I'm a hypocrite. I am it, but I'm just trying to be less of a hypocrite. And that's all I can do, because that's being a human. Just try and be less of a hypocrite. Just being here, we ruin the world. You know what I mean? We're the worst. Having children is one of the worst things you can do for the environment. But we need them, and it's part of nature. So it's a balancing act. And but yeah, as I said, it's like just that whole thing of trying to be a decent person and give a shit, And you can even just do that. But at the moment, that's a strange weighing, really, of where we're at.
Apathy is the scariest thing I think you can be as a human. To have apathy as a human is the scariest thing. And a lot of people just live in apathy because it's hard to confront.
Yeah, we want empathy, not apathy.
Correct.
Fun question. Best gig, worst gig?
Best gig, worst gig.
We're on stage, you were rocking, and it's just fantastic.
It actually was just last week. I know that sounds weird, but Zuraitis is a Lithuanian last name, and I went to Vilnius and I got to play last week in a 1,000-seat theater that was sold out with my band.
Brilliant.
My original music. And to an audience that their first language isn't English, and see that it touched them. And I also learned a Lithuanian folk song and sang it in their language. And then we all sang together, all 1,000 people got to sing it all together. And that to me is like what I'm here to do, is to bring people together through music, like you mentioned. So that was really special. And the worst gig?
Yeah, where everything went wrong.
I feel like I have so many of those.
One where, like,
okay.
the gear breaks, the kind of thing, everything goes wrong.
Okay, I could go way back, but the most recent bad gig was I was in China performing at Jazz in Lincoln Center, Shanghai, with my band, and I went out to dinner with this lovely new friend, and he brought me to the Michelin star restaurant, and I ate a lot. And afterwards, we went and got this fancy ice cream that was like lemongrass or whatever. And as we're in the cab, I was like, oh, maybe I overindulged. I'm not feeling so great. And it was too close to sound check. So I'd go upstairs, I change, we start walking to the gig. And as I'm walking, I start to sweat and I'm going, oh, this isn't good. And we get to sound check, and I'm like, guys, I think I'm gonna be sick. And then I was like, I think I could do the gig because I'm like a horse. I'm like, I'm gonna do the gig. I'm a workhorse. I'll never miss a gig.
You're a trooper.
Get on stage, and middle of the third song, I'm like, run off stage, puke. Band keeps playing. I puke for like 5 minutes. I come back, and I'm like, I do 2 more songs, and I was like, and I ran off again, puking, like full food poisoning. And then the next time I come back, I have my hair up in a ponytail, and I'm the color of a sheet. Man. And I'm on stage, I puked, and then they had to like literally carry me up the stairs, and the show was canceled. And then later on, somebody wrote a review. They wrote, I don't know, 1 star, singer did not show up. Because the second set I was in the hospital.
Have you seen The Exorcist?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we're short of the head spinning round.
Exactly. Not my best moment.
People you'd love to collaborate with? Is there a singer you'd love to work with, or a musician?
Ooh.
Like anyone you could have in the world?
Sure. Sarah Bareilles is amazing. Carole King, Stevie Wonder, Robert Plant.
I'm only going to give you one. Out of all of those, if you had to just pick one.
Only one.
Who would you pick?
Carole King.
Really? I thought it was going to be Robert Plant, but anyway.
I
saw him play recently.
Super
It was
hard.
amazing. But his new band is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link of something I just
Brilliant.
saw the other day. It's amazing.
Brilliant artist.
Really, really amazing. Favorite jazz club in New York?
Oh, you're going to get me canceled over here if I don't answer this right. It was 55 Bar, but that unfortunately closed. I used to love playing at Birdland all the time. I was really grateful. Johnny gave me a huge opportunity playing with the Birdland Big Band, giving me opportunity there. Spike Wilner is an old friend of mine. I used to cat sit for him. He owns Smalls, Mesro, and now Jazz Cultural.
Wow.
Which is really terrific. And then my friends at Drum, that's another beautiful club that, whenever I need a gig now, I can call them, and it's just a place to play. So those 4 kind of places are amazing.
Do you still play New York regularly?
Yeah, I'm playing at Dizzy's at Lincoln Center for my album release, for my new album, The Devil I Knew, which comes out, produced by Larry Klein. And speaking of Joni Mitchell's ex-husband, and just a brilliant, brilliant producer and human and heart, soul, bass player, he's amazing. So we'll be playing our album release there. And at Ronnie Scott's.
Ronnie Scott's in June.
Yeah.
June, isn't it? It's going to be great. Ronnie's is fabulous.
Yeah, I also love Dizzy's, obviously, but who doesn't love Jazz in Lincoln Center?
Yeah, of course. But Ronnie's I Love in London was a fantastic club. The little tables and the little light and all the rest of it.
Yes, it's so cute there.
I had a great moment in Ronnie's with Jack Bruce, who I was producing, and Jack said to me one day, "Hey Rob, do you fancy going out to Ronnie's?" And it's like, yeah, Jack Bruce, come on. So we had a little bit of food in Soho, just shooting the shit, and then we walked into, it was hilarious. We walked into Ronnie's, and the coat check girl was taking this coat, and she didn't recognise him, and it was hilarious because behind her was a massive poster of Jack. And she's just taking his coat away. But then they walked the scene, and it was like the scene from Goodfellas. When he brings his girlfriend down the back, and it's all one shot, and they put the table out.
Oh,
so we were
fantastic.
walking in, they took a table out, put a tablecloth on it. It was like, I felt like a gangster. And I was like, I'm with Jack Bruce, and then
in
they
the
put
front.
and they put a bottle of wine down, and it was John Medeski was playing, because we had John Medeski on the album. He was a friend. That's when I first met John Medeski. Medeski, Martin and Wood.
Wow.
Yeah, they're fantastic. So there was me watching with Jack Bruce, Medeski, Martin. It was a big moment for me. I've never forgotten. It was just, I can't believe I'm not worthy,
Oh, wow.
It was a great moment. So Jack Bruce, he was a great friend. I miss him terribly. Did you ever meet him?
No, never.
Because, the funny thing about all of those guys is they all are huge jazz fans. They just love jazz music. So it's like, that's all they listen to, except for, you'd say to them, so, do you like any rock? Led Zeppelin, rubbish. Pink Floyd, rubbish. The Beatles, love them. they all loved the Beatles. Every one of those guys,
Fascinating.
the Beatles were like, everybody loved the Beatles, no matter who it was. Even Al Di Meola, we've had on the show, huge Beatles fan, massive Beatles fan. But he's
What's not to like?
Yeah, exactly. So what's next?
Well, I'm touring.
Next album?
Yeah, it's called The Devil I Knew. It's in 5 parts. It's the Mirror, the Martyr, the Malediction, the Reckoning, and the Requiem. And it's about realizing that you're the villain in your own story, which I think is not a tale often told by women. And often people are like, "Oh, I am the hero, I'm the victim." But the older I get, the more I'm like, "Oh, I have full control over my own decisions in my life, and I have to figure out a way to live with those decisions." So it's called The Devil I Knew. And it comes out July 17th, and it has one heck of a cast of characters. Again, I wrote all the songs except 3. And we have strings by Vince Mendoza, horns by Jerry Hay, Christian McBride on bass, and Sam Weber on bass, and Larry Klein on bass, Dan Gillette Huxelman, Scott Sherrard from Little Feat, Donnie McCaslin. It's going to be Idam Marim, Dan Pugach on drums, and John Coward and Larry Goldings on organ. It's going to be, and then a bunch of friends doing either poetry or background vocals, and it's really special.
What would be great to finish out the show? We've got a piano at the back here. Would you sing us a tune?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Fantastic. Nicole, thank you so much.
You are the man, Rob. Thanks for having me.
That was great. Brilliant.
Everybody knows it's improv, right? So I can say that it's improv.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
Talk, prog.
You're ready.
Oh, God, okay. You just want me to make up a song.
Look, Nicole, give us an intro.
Okay. I was doing this podcast on dopeYEAH Talk. Doing this podcast on dopeYEAH Talk. And now I'm gonna go for a walk. You wanna go for a walk?
I'll go for a walk.
'Cause we just talked. So happy to be here in Prague on dopeYEAH Talk. What about you?
Fantastic. You didn't give me a shout out, but I can handle that.
I know, Robbie, you're gonna sing it. Ready? 2, 3, 4.
You have to sing it with me to start off.
I don't remember how it went though.
Because I can't remember either.
Okay. Doing the podcast on dopeYEAH Talk. Doing the podcast on dopeYEAH Talk. Taking a walk. We gotta go take that walk. On dopeYEAH Talk. Girl, we're here in Prague. Oh, I forgot what key I'm in. Let's take it again. Sorry. Well, we're doing the podcast on dopeYEAH Talk. Doing the podcast on dopeYEAH Talk. We're gonna take a walk. Yeah, dopeYEAH Talk. It's so good to be in Prague at dopeYEAH Talk.
Perfection.
Fantastic.
Look, we've taken you one, please. Last one. One of your songs, please. If you could, it'd be amazing for us. It'd be a real treat. So anything you want to do, past, present, something you're going to release, anything you just feel in the moment comes into your head.
Oh God, okay. Jazzy or pop?
Either. Anything that you want to play now, you'd have fun playing.
Is this actually working?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're at dopeYEAH Talk. Of course it works. Maybe I'll play Can We Dream for a Minute? I don't know what you've done, but you did it. Time is flying and we're within it. I don't know anyway, but you hit it. I'm still humming. You release something. Don't you lie and say
it's nothing. Don't know when you found the time to build this, but I'm living in it. This fire comes once a lifetime, so I dare you to feed the flame. Hey, dare you to stake your claim on my heart, 'cause it ain't easy loving war when we've both been here before. But I'm yours if you call my name. Tell me to jump and I'll leap it. Beg me to steal and I'll steal it. Ask me where we're going and I'll map it out. If you ask me out, 'cause I feel this, hey. Loving you is like loving the moon. The photo can capture the heart space you rule. Maybe we've been heading in the wrong direction, but as I've mentioned, hey, I'm on this train with you. So I dare you to feed the flame. Dare you to stake your claim on my heart, 'cause it ain't easy loving war when we've both been here before. But I'm yours if you call my name. Hey, call it. Call it. Call it. I'm on this train too. So I dare you to feed the flame. Dare you to stake your claim on my heart, 'cause it ain't easy loving war when we've both been here before. And I'm yours, you. No, 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 no. Feed the flame, 'cause it ain't easy loving war when we've both been here before. But I'm yours if you call my name. Call my name. That's my song.
Nicole Zuraitis, that was fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob.
That was amazing.
My pleasure.
Blew us all away. I
Thanks,
actually
team.
I was getting goose pimples. Look,
Oh my God, look at that.
can't lie.
That
That doesn't
don't
lie. The goose pimples don't lie.
You want to sing a duet? You know what to sing a duet. What would you sing?
What would we sing? We have to sing something bluesy.
Yeah,
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
sure.
Should we try that?
Yeah, do you need to be mic'd?
Yeah. Sitting in the morning, sitting in the morning sun.
Sitting
In the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes,
Hey.
watching the ships roll in. Then I'll watch them roll away again.
Sing, Rob.
Yeah, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. I'm at my home in Georgia,
Georgia.
heading for the Frisco Bay. Yeah. I got nothing to live for. Looks like nothing's gonna come my way. Yeah, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Rich, give me that. Yeah. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Woo. Everything still remains the same.
It remains the same.
I can't tell me what town now can tell me to do, but I guess I'll remain the same.
Hey.
Sitting here resting my bones.
You're resting, that's for sure.
And my loneliness won't leave me alone. 2,000 miles from home,
Yeah.
just to make this dock my own. Yeah, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time, wasting time.
Do 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 do. Yeah, baby.
I love a sing song. I'm Irish.
I love a sing song. I love a sing along all day, all day. Fantastic.
Thank you. It was
Thank
amazing.
you.
That was fun.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yay!
Singing for my supper yet again. They milk me for everything here.
I know they do it for all.